Hello. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Well, there we go. Now I can move. What happened to my games? Oh, oh weird. Anyways, it was literally up here a moment ago. Okay. Cool. There we go. You see the game now. Wow. Game can be heard. I can be heard. Sure, everything else could be heard as well. Alright. Anyways, I am fully prepared to cheese this fight. That way we can progress. And finish up the story. Oh, everyone has 6 speed. This. 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 Ooh, this one has 4. This should get us to the finish line. Should.
아름다운 춤을 추는 건 나뿐이어야 해. 그럼 네 발목을 잘라버리면.
방금 좀 똑똑했다. 옛날에 조직에서 싸울 때도 눈에 바로 적을 다 밀어버리는 놈이 있었지.
Ow, how rude. Wait, no, you're not supposed to lose the clash. It's fine. Oh god, they're all losing their clashes. That's okay, they're bleeding and that's what matters. As long as there's blood.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 두드려 패.
That's actually way more bleed than I thought was gonna happen. Yay, we did it! Easy. Wow, we're all dead. I have to be the mother for all of them. The family's thirst, it's... No, my lady. You needn't be the mother of anyone here. You are a sinner. Nothing more. Ah shit, Virgil is coming in to save the day again. You'd love to see it. Virgil's so cool. I will not place the blame of this incident on anyone, Dante. I understand that no one could have expected this outcome. Given the dearth of intelligence regarding the binding tool the first kindred had gifted to the third sinner. Well then. I hadn't had that much first-hand experience with watching Virgilus fight, but this was certainly the most exhausted I've seen him after a fight. I decided to say nothing and turn the clock. After some time passed. Don Quixote, what happened? Did you lose consciousness? Or did something affect your memory? Manager Esquire, I'm My memories were fine, but I heard something as soon as I removed my shoes. Voices, right? Once again, you have witnessed me. Yes, the voices. So many voices. Voices? The voices of my family. But the blood fiends of the Matchaland are all Sinclair trailed off. Every single blood fiend left inside the Matchaland was killed when the amusement park collapsed. In other words, most of Don Quixote's lower kindreds are dead. That is correct. But I cannot well explain how. The only way I might explain this is that it was as though my very blood remembered them still. I recognized some of them, and some were voices of those I once deeply cared for. It seems that I was, against my own desire, made to ascend to my father's seat. Perhaps I always was, ever since then. And I was struck not only by my own thirst, but the combined thirst of every single one of the children. Thirst. Indeed, I am also bound by that thirst. It is only natural because I am a blood fiend. Thus, the pressure of it all broke my hold of sanity, and I hurt you all, as Don Quixote the Blood Fiend, a higher kindred, not as Don Quixote, a sinner and your friend. Don Quixote, it isn't your fault, it's... No, such words are now meaningless. She looked down at her pair of shoes, their strings again neatly tied. The higher office will now be regularly supplying you with artificial blood packs. Hohenheim approached us after spending a while vigorously scribbling something in his notes. The blood substitute will be very similar to real blood in terms of composition. We won't have any issues with supply. I don't suppose you actually believe that mere willpower would be enough to withstand this urge? I have done quite well suppressing it thus far. Indeed, that was precisely the wick attached to the ticking time bomb within the LCB. Must I remind you that the soundness of this limiter of yours is quite tenuous, as today's events have demonstrated. Is it your implication that the purpose of conducting this reckless experiment to determine the full extent of the latent danger? I don't know. It seemed like he was in it only to sate his curiosity. Call it merely the auspice of opportune convenience. This risk factor had to be measured sooner or later. Had I known the full extent of the danger she posed, I would have immediately requested a forceful summoning of your department. Of course, as large as this void of unknown was, we were able to fill it with much new information. Current analysis can be drawn by comparing the reports regarding blood fiends in this very experiment. Let us discuss the thirst you experienced first. For example, combined desire of every lower kindred. Indeed, it is true. The Mancha-Gond kindreds have been completely eradicated due to the events at La Mancha Land, but you still heard the voices of your children, yes? What are you trying to say? I aim to discuss the powerful binding force contained within blood. LCD's cooperative report explains that blood is not merely a carrier of nutrients, something more. It contains certain abstract values as well. We sent in a complaint, as the report was far too vague in its wording, and we received a reply their on-site investigative reasoning team leader spat out, the contents of which were equally fascinating. This desire for their kind, this thirst, is something that may as well be imbued and imprinted on the familial bloodline. Normally, the weight of that thirst is far too heavy for any individual to bear, which is why they propagate, to bear the unbearable burden together. But considering that all of that desire is now focused onto an individual, on account of the extinction of her entire family line, it is easy to see why her hold to sanity was so easily broken. No matter the strength of her will. She alone was made to bear the responsibility, the pressure, the duty of having to raise the family once again. Because none of those needs are currently met, there comes the endless, exasperating thirst. Thirst and more thirst. Quite fascinating to see how your kind preserves these very abstract values in the physical form of blood. Mere word thirst does quite the insufficient job of describing the intensity with which you have lost control. This was my oversight, I must admit. I do respect your efforts to be liberated from your nature. I truly do. But I also maintain that it is highly advisable for you to regularly consume the provided blood packs. Understood. But one day, I wish to dismount from Rocinante and walk bare of feet, feel the earth under my own skin. I was able to establish one positive fact from this exercise, however. What might that be? That there are those who would quite literally throw their lives on a line to stop you, even if you were to take off your shoes. In other words, I don't believe it to be necessary for other departments to exercise any separate control over you. Well, now that I've had a first-hand account of your conditions, I will write the following in a report. Still, quite unstable, yet, with the effort from the subject herself, and efforts from various other environmental factors, this subject has been deemed sufficiently controllable. Once again, I do respect your efforts. Or any kind of effort, really. Because I've never had much use for it myself. Don Quixote took a deep breath, turned to face the sinners, and then her eyes had regained their usual, softer look. But sorrow was seeping through the tone of her voice. Despite her theatrical manner of speech returning, her tone reminded me of our time at La Mancha land. My deepest apologies, dearest friends. Forsooth, I shall ever persevere to see that Rocinante, my shoes, are never to be removed again. Lass, you're looking at it all wrong. You're going to remove those shoes one day, yeah? And that's what you're going to persevere towards. Barely. Hey, Dougals. How's it going? What's up? What's up? Doing a shorter stream before our regular stream later.
It's time to
You're missing one. Oh, there it is. I think she let out a brief, quiet laughter. Okay, cool. The sound's actually working today. No one's calling. No one's calling. Maybe I should change that. That's like kind of funny. Manager Esquire. Perchance, is there aught that thou concealest from my knowledge? What do you mean? I don't think so. No coincidence that, at this very moment, I noticed Foss looking in my direction. I don't know if I made the right choice here, but Foss nodded lightly, as though to say that I did. I stopped hesitating, and a tick-tocking noise came to a stop. You should keep the noise for the Aussie, but don't acknowledge anyone calling the rest of viewers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's just funny. I know, like, the very first time someone got it, it did trip everyone up. Very well, then. However, I cannot help but admit that I felt some degree of anxiety as I watched Don Quixote walk away as though nothing had happened. Yay, we beat it. Wonder how many more chapters I have to go through. Probably not too many.
피분수가 폭죽보다도 높이 솟아올랐어. 아니야.
512, the hierarchy.
안 돼. 아름다움을 잃지 않게. 그리고 제.
Well, now that that's over and done with, I would like the sinners to come gather around here. Hohenheim placed the sinners in a single file before him and began. Now, the regular checkup is complete. Your finally have enough data to compare your pre-employment statuses to those of your current selves. Which means... Indeed, you're able to measure your pre-employment combat capabilities as well. Oh, and what are your conclusions? Allow me to preface this by saying that there isn't much significance in establishing this particular hierarchy of power on a linear scale, like I said. You're all equally mediocre at the present anyway, and... Oi! There's plenty of significance, alright? We've all gotta know who's the big boss. While this is but a speculation of the worst case scenario, we must know which one of us has the most right and authority to lead the rest of the sinners, in case our executive manager becomes, due to some unknown yet inexorable circumstances, unavailable. Hey, that's... I don't listen to anyone weaker than I am. What if there was a reason I was the first one asked to introduce himself? Gregor, you... I promise you, you're not the strongest one. There was a burgeoning interest among the sinners to see which of them would be at the apex of the scale, were they to be measured by their strengths prior to their employment. But I think it's pretty obvious that Don Quixote is technically the strongest. Hey, maybe before I lost my memories, even Dante, don't. It's interesting how every collective has a desire to get the clear picture of the pecking order. A negative expression of this desire may even lead to juvenile behaviors among children. For example, stealing their colleagues' lunches for meager reasons, such as scoring higher than they did on a test. You're not speaking from personal experience, are you? Thus, I believe that trying to conceal the outcome of the test from you would be quite meaningless. Each of your placements in that line you are standing in signifies that very order you are so curious to know. I do not wish to waste any more breath on this subject. Long silence. Is this the order? From weakest? Ishmael's number 10? I'm surprised Rodian's stronger. He's saying it's at the bottom of the pecking order just as I thought he should be. I guess it was originally Sinclair. Then the sinners all simultaneously turn to look at the person standing in the frontmost position of the line. Wait, is it? It's not actually Gregor, is it? Boss is up here? Oh, this is stronger than Ryoshi? I don't believe it. I refuse. This has to be the longest, most awkward, most loaded silence I've ever felt in my life. Much that I wish to hold shrouded in my fathoms, yet I yearn still to convey that we are all more than meets the eye. Yet there remains a certain abundance within my heart. Perhaps the tests of this day paint a picture of both my qualities. The waifu is live. Oh, me. Yes, it is I. Onyx Slime. Live. Earlier than usual. This book, you think. But wait, where does Gregor fall in line? They didn't show him at all out of the other 11. He's saying? I will place trust in the faith that all of you shall one day sprout wings as I have. He's saying, it's the other way around. Oh no. He thought he was number 1. Oh man. That's fucking funny. You get it. What else is in the gacha?
Oh baby.
Oh no, Renard slime. Poor Yi saying. Yeah, that shit's so fucking funny. Ah yes, the lion was made from my point of view. Considering running that oversized lance is the one at the front of this line. But where's Gregor? He wasn't in the line. Well, You said some cool words, though. We got this. We got this, right? Are you saying? Well, this is quite the bashful occasion. Ahem. To be the center of such fervent attention of one such company. Let's say fervent is the right word. Worried, maybe? I shall be vigilant. No one seemed to have any objections or doubts about who the strongest sinner was, given the earlier events. On second thought, it appears that it would be best if we left the command to Ishmael, as we have done so far. Otis mumbled through gritted teeth. Forsooth, I am in agreement. I am more partial to roles as a defending fixer or a squire. It is often the case that such side characters enjoyed greater popularity since time immemorial. Very happy to see this discussion not coming to blows. Now, are we all ready to move on from this? Wait a minute. Aren't we all forgetting something? Pretty important? Yeah, like where the fuck are you in the line? That's just how the world works, Greg. No one remembers anyone between the first place and last place. I haven't forgot my own placement in the order. No, I mean... Fellas, I wasn't even a part of the list. Oh, were you not? Who cares, mates? There's 12 of us. Some people just fall out of the radar. Big deal. Let's just get it over on with. Hey, you can't just disregard me like swatting away a fly. Yeah, I guess somewhere around my level, probably. Or Heathcliff's. Someone replied in a voice that had clearly lost all interest in the discussion. I wonder if Gregor was like even lower than you saying. Yeah, that'd be kind of sad. But also, I can believe it, because Gregor doesn't have a single good ID. Hey, Impulse. ZB. I still really like how that one came out. Ah. You're the center of that bizarre insectoid arm. We had no choice but to place you in the least favorite category of all researchers. What the fuck? Why is the Hohenheim such a dick? Just kick a man while he's down. Exceptions. Exceptions? Ugh. You saying? Come on me. Oh, sorry, Impulse. Not today. Actually, you do have another chance later. This is my first of 2 streams today. So, or you may have failed to get Impulse now. You might get Impulse later. They really hate that, huh? In other words, you are a unique case that cannot well be placed in a list or a scale. To do so would be irresponsible. What does that mean? I would be there. Good, good. Also, oh, Impulse, why have you here? I haven't finished the slimes yet, but I did realize, oh, I should probably ask Impulse for what kind of what sound he wants for the shade. I got one for you for yourself, but now I probably should get one from you for a shade. I'd say you carry a certain potential. That, potential, is it? Does that mean I could also be first place if all goes well? It could very well be the reverse, given the definition of potential. That not to square arrow your mind. Outside, you thought it's going to be from Wakame? Okay, cool. Hi, Del. I love this. The fact that you say you immediately become smug when he realizes he might not be at the bottom of the list. Let not this query harrow your mind, Gregor. Your day will come. That was funny, getting consoled by the guy who placed last. That's just fucking funny. I love that. Have a meeting. Have a meeting. Oh, a meeting. Have a good meeting. Ooh, this might be shorter than I thought. Maybe we'll do a Meridian, depending. You a meeting, yeah, you a meeting. After some time passed, Next, we must discuss the classification numbers. We have been assigning risk levels for distortions, just as we have for abnormalities. The observation logs you have written for us were of great help, of course. My researchers struggled to parse the handwriting of certain sinners, however, but it was good data all the same. We once had a 3-hour debate over a letter. Even that bloody governess gave up on trying to fix my handwriting. He just grinned proudly and wiped the side of his nose. As you must all be well aware, the current system of classification numbers has a rather significant oversight. Because abnormalities were creations of the former L-Core, our classification system had to be lifted whole from their system. However, the criteria by which the former L-Core measured the risk levels was the amount of their energy production. As a correlation of sorts, it was often the case that the more aggressive abnormalities produced more energy, but their destructive capabilities were not a part of the criteria, despite the correlation. That is why certain abnormalities were assigned relatively lower risk levels, despite the potential to kill even multiple higher-ranking employees. They were an energy company at the end of the day. It makes sense that their priority would be to measure the energy output. However, here, both abnormalities and distortions must be suppressed via direct confrontation. Thus, the former L-Core's classification system is rather incongruent with our purposes. I once heard someone say that we should be wary of people who drone on and on in the intro. Thus, it became necessary for us to reorganize the distortion's risk levels and classification codes. Wow, how interesting. So whose job is that going to be? I am rather taken aback by the naivety with which you asked me that question. Us. It's us. Sinners without the right to refuse, was it? Wait a sec. Aren't you just offloading your own work onto us? A privilege given to researchers. Oi, don't be so ignorant, yeah? This is all just to, in order to research the distortions, right? We gotta... The other way around, assistant. We've got to do research into distortions in order to solve them better. It's elementary shit. Hohenheim's really got you wrapped around his finger, you know? You know that? According to the LCD on-site investigation reasoning team leader, progression of a distortion is much like that of a disease. The fate of an abnormality awaits at the end of the distortion phenomenon, after all. When the distortion progresses into an abnormality, all pre-existing individuality is erased, replaced with the totality of an abnormality. Thus, it is impossible to bring back a distortion that has already transformed into abnormality. It will no longer have the reversibility that they once had in the distortion phase. So, a distortion like that Time Ripper fella will eventually become an abnormality too, if left untouched. If you're referring to the subject E7Pi2001, then yes. It's just simply a prediction, of course, because that particular subject isn't contained here. I cannot say with absolute certainty that its progression into an abnormality will be observed. The correct assessment. Oh, didn't Limbus Company collect the Time Ripper? We hoped we would, but T-Core was very adamant about their claim over the entity, to the point where they refused to even sit at the negotiation table. I found their time-ripping ability quite fascinating, but sometimes I must know when to cut my losses, I suppose. Wait, so that key something is the new classification code format? Indeed. Because it is difficult to identify and observe the origin and the shape of a distortion, we decided to forego that information and instead replace them with their sin affinities and the expected damage scale. Sin affinities. I must refer to Pigrita. Block. True. The E7 Loft 21? What does that mean? I need to know what the numbers mean. It appears that the classification now mimics the classification of the Pecatola. They do indeed follow the same thought process. If we're being technical here, I wouldn't say it mimics it. It would be more accurate to say that, as the Peccatola are at once the origins of the distortion phenomenon and its byproducts, affinities can be transferred one to one. What's the expected damage scale? Combat capability, I'm guessing. I remember them saying that the risk levels were determined based on the enkephalin production rates, which is not the most meaningful information to us, who have to fight them directly. It was a tad inconvenient to put a nebulous idea like combat capabilities into a singular numerical scale of power. Certain entities have idiosyncrasies and variables that may make such a linear measure quite meaningless. So instead, we decided to measure the expected amount of damage that Limbus Company personnel might suffer should they engage in battle. While this Time Ripper poses very little threat against the sinners due to your idiosyncrasies, the unique nature of the weapon means that they can immediately deal a nigh-fatal blow to anyone from the LCC department with a single strike. That is why this distortion was given a rather high expected damage scale of 6, from a scale of 1 to 10. Please do note that this is not a perfect system, and these values are there only as references. Will this standard be applied to abnormalities as well? We have plans to do so, yes. Risk levels and expected damage scales will be coming before their classification codes. Speaking of which, I have something to show you all. What is it? What else other than the monolith? One with the highest potential values among Limbus Company's businesses. Thus, the development of transportation, management, and processing methodologies of the monolith is a glowing achievement indeed. The artifact, by its very nature, poses a great danger. I hesitate to embrace its use so willingly. A great danger? But would you say that we are beset by danger at all times? The arbitrariness in which deciding how dangerous something is comes from the degree to which it poses a risk. As you must already know, the monolith here is a device that can force a distortion. It is scattered throughout the city, just like the golden bow. At first, only in possession of the fingers and the syndicates of the backstreets, and now being collected by companies both large and small, and nameless like a plague. We also learned that they have become rather high priority targets for some wings out there. As luck would have it, we managed to begin our research, expedition, and collection of the monoliths much earlier than the others. Now, we are already at the stage in which we may partake in the processing and the sales of these artifacts, expanding our business ventures. You could say that we narrowly avoided the very unsavory fate of having to tussle with the wings for the possession of these artifacts, because we may have had to confront the wings directly were that the case. Asking out of pure curiosity here, what would happen if we were ever assigned to a city threat level? Oh, good question. Itchy, how about we don't ask questions we don't want to find out the answers to? I mean, what if we, due to some contractual shenanigans, end up going against the associations? I think it'd be a good thing to know ahead of time, just in case. Seems like a question worth entertaining to me. Let's see. From Canard to Star of the City, I suppose your assignment will be somewhere between Urban Plague and Urban Nightmare. Not Star of City yet, are we? Oh, she wants to be. Battle Royale. It almost sounds as if you want to be given a threat level. It is true that you, upon first sight, due to your revival powers, or the potential of the identity technology, may appear to pose a rather troublesome risk. However, you have a very clear and obvious weakness. Indeed, all of our advantages will be moot upon the manager's death. Hohenheim slowly turns around to look at me, prompting Foss and the other sinners to follow suit. What if we protected them, though? I am impressed by your optimism, given the kinds of enemies you have faced thus far. We don't even need to go so far back in time to discuss the incidents with Fixer Siegfried or Big Brother Ricardo I read from your reports. Should the Surge Center suddenly seek to attack the manager with her full might, do you truly believe the rest of you would be enough to protect him? To protect them? No, the flow of this world is that the manager will be preserved, that no such thing may come to pass. That's enough, Hohenheim. Any further divulgence, and Foss will open a disciplinary committee to discuss the consequences of your careless words. Wait, what did he just say? The flow of this world is that the manager will be preserved. So are you telling me Dante has plot armor? And Foss knows something? So they already know, for whatever reason, Dante will not die. Not there yet, are we? Very well. Whichever is the case, you have the potential to become a star of the city fret at some time in the future. But do remember that it would be best if you could avoid that unfortunate designation. And please, don't forget that it is only true so long as you have Limbus Company's backing. Maybe one day we'll betray Limbus Company. A final checkup. Ooh, it's a dungeon. Yeah, let's just take a bleed. That sounds fine. That sounds fine to me. We are almost done at the regular checkup. Finally, we have a chance for you to overcome an adversity based on what you have learned thus far. And for me to prove my hypothesis. What hypothesis is he talking about? No need to worry. My hypotheses have never been wrong, most of the time. This experiment is entirely of my own design and supervision. And I will faithfully follow my own pure curiosities and instincts as a researcher. That's a monolith. Guys, I have a feeling we're not going to like where this goes. Now, do you see this monolith here? Yep, I do. That's the monolith, alright, but... Ah, don't you worry. My researchers will be the only ones to activate the artifact. Activate the artifact? Not on you. Relax. I understand that none of you would be willing participants to this experiment. I swear, if you're going to force us to distort saying that we have no right to refute something, I'm gonna... Yeah, hang on. I can't let you do that, even as your assistant. Yes, but if you must, we're willing to send the weakest sinner among us for... Forget I said that. That was foolish of me to say. Yeah, Otis. I will be the subject of the experiment myself. You're going to distort yourself? Am I hearing you right? Aren't you curious to see what kind of distortion you'd end up becoming? I'm sure this is a question you have all entertained at least once. No, I ain't curious. It ain't a very pleasant experience either. Stop gritting your teeth like that, assistant. It will have an adverse effect on your long-term dental health. What if you just end up turning into a pecatellum? You could end up becoming a pecatellum. Just another one of the fodder we slaughtered our way through for the test earlier. You're risking that? It is indeed a possibility. It will signify nothing more than my very own limitations. This a mediocre shell. Especially the incident comes to pass, these employees will transport me to a containment unit. We even made a bet on what kind of pecatellum I would turn into. He bet on Goulet, I on Ibidea, and her on Pigaritai. Hello, Uchao. Welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Congrats for becoming waifu, thanks. I look pretty good, huh? Ooh, Dante. I would love to see more art, to be honest. But how could you? Butterfly Mika. Think about it like this. If I were to become a Pecatola, it would be akin to losing at a game of chance. I mean, I guess I never saw you buy your jacket. It's just true. And I do have very poofy sleeves. But I'm also pretty sure I'm just like flat. At least in this model. I'm a slime. Slimes can shapeshift. This is just facts. Of course, what counts as a loss may depend on what I, at that precise time, consider to be losing. But the mere fact of turning into Pecatolum frees me of any value to life. Check denies us on the regular. Nah. I'd say he was being too hard on himself, but that felt like too simple an expression to describe his tone. This company would most likely attempt to transport me to a containment unit, but I disagree with that decision. I'd like to ask you to dispose of me on the spot. I am well aware that I am not the kind of congenial person who earns others' favor at first meeting, if at all. I also don't believe that our brief relationship has been the most amicable kind. Therefore, I see little reason why you would hesitate to cut me down. Of course, senators of gentle hearts like this young Sinclair here may express certain distaste against this decision. But once I become a Pecatolum, it may as well mean that Hohenheim, the entity, has ceased to be. So I hope no unnecessary emotions like guilt clouds your judgment in killing the Pecatolum, a mere byproduct. But what if something unexpected happens? We're talking about your life here. Don't you have any manuals with backup plans or... This is a very simple matter, nothing more than a coin flip. Heads or tails. It appears that you're still insisting on your absurd 50-50 theory. Hohenheim, yes, he is a hoe. Also kind of an asshole. But so far, I think I like this character more than I thought I was going to. This is a dick. I am a researcher who wishes to humiliate the field of mathematical statistics, unlike the general lay of the academia. I believe there is a certain romanticism in research. It is much more exciting to run as many tests and gain as many samples as we can than to be stuck behind a desk, poring day and night over books and paper, isn't it? Can't hold on time, I believe in 50-52. 50-50% if I have boobs or not? Am I a waifu or not? The coin flip. Probably not. Probably not. If it's tails. Ow! Hi, Jen! Throw bananas at me. Not very nice. If it's tails, then you may dispose of me immediately. And the employees here. Ow! Ow! Stop it! Very rude. Hope your day is going well. Ow! Blade! You're gonna kill me. Ugh. I wonder if I should add something that... Hey. Oh, hey. It's the coin stuck on my head. Ow. Is it over? Do I get to live? Okay. I should add objects that do like more damage. Oh, it was perfect. It was like stuck on my horns. Don't forget to destroy the key inside that coat pocket and the files inside my cabinets, for example. What? Yes, do remember. Ow! No! Blade, stop it. This is not my fault. It's not my fault. It was chance that happened to begin with. A 50-50 chance. Probably lower than that. If I were to successfully distort, we would be halfway to success. My, for the first time, I'm feeling quite the envy for you all. I wish I could be a witness to my very own distortion. Huh? You've been paying attention to my lectures. Perhaps you could even come up with a classification code for my distortion too, going by the standards we have discussed earlier. Not that I have a very high expectation that you would. I've recently come to the realization that people nodding along to my words is not a signifier of comprehension, but instead an expression of societal niceties. Nods. Then the manager here will open the entrance to my dungeon of the Fathoms. and you progress through the mirror dungeon, as you have always done when facing a distortion. Reach into its deepest fathoms to face my distortion once again. I wish you the best of luck in your suppression efforts. Access section. And once you've made it that far, it's likely that you will find me unconscious, or if luck would have it, conscious. Unconscious, are you sure this is safe? That's fine. A degree of case-by-case variance is to be expected. It may take some time for a full recovery, but it will happen should you succeed. That reminds me, that's how this bamboo-hatted Kim was brought back as well. Bamboo-hatted Kim? He's recovered? He is safely contained within our facilities. It seems that they are ready to activate the monolith. I am confident that I, even as a distortion, will be quite the exceptional specimen. Hang on, just like that? You're not a Pecatolum. Indeed. And I can still hear them. Yes, I remember. I still do. I know he'll be back, but gosh, this is pretty unnerving. Don't worry, we'll bring him back, no matter what. Manager said that we will bring him back no matter what. Sure sounds like a dependable sort, this manager of yours. Very well, please take a look at this. Is this a note? Did he write his tips on how to do this or something? He said that all you have to do is read what's on that note in front of his distortion. Apparently it's some kind of a code. I don't think you'll hear anything but ticking noises from me. Can you read this, Berceau? It will be done as you commanded. Berceau nodded, and began to read the words from the note aloud. Lobotomy Corporation, 5 minutes. Potentiality, anticipation, right hand. The moment Berceau uttered them, the all too familiar portal began to appear around Hohenheim's distortion, as though they were a key to a door. Scattering shards of familiar yet alien sights appeared, intermittently beyond the shimmering veil. Bless you. Hohenheim had already entered the portal as we stood there gawking, but we could still hear his voice echoing through the laboratory. I suppose I'll be forced to share my past here. Past I never wanted to share. The past no one cares to learn about. It is something I must endure for the sake of this experiment. However, I needn't expose every little detail of it. It's all in the past now anyway, isn't it? Eh? Is he an Elcor outcast? I wonder. Eh, what the fuck? This is a long dungeon. Hohenheim's Fathoms. We're at the starting point of the dungeon of the Fathoms. We find ourselves in a room that appears to be a workshop of ego gears. If you have scored below 100% synchronization rate in the aptitude test, take only a single ego from here. An ominous warning sign greets us all, and the same words repeat ceaselessly from the speaker. Sinners all go to take a look, enticed by the sign, telling us that we can pick up ego gears here, but what we find there are ego gifts. What? These ain't ego gears, these are them gifts or something, right? Ow! My rings! It appears that ego are manifest here in the shape of ego gifts. Can we just take them all? Yeah, take all of them. That sounds like a great idea. My rings. This is the Dungeon of the Fathoms. As it differs from the usual mirror dungeons, it is highly advisable that its rules are followed. What should we do? Burn, rupture, keywordless. I guess I'm taking keywordless. Take the cleaning solution spray. We take the illusionary hunt ego gift. Oh, okay, thanks. Always a good one to have. Alright. First fight. Works for me.
최선을 다할게요.
Alright, we're running bleed for this dungeon. Elcor branch control team? Oh, he was part of Elcor. What the hell? What's going on with them? Good. It appears that I can censor these with my own will, at least to a degree. Your mission here is to classify my distortion, reach the end of this dungeon of the Fathoms, and bring me back. Your mission, however, does not involve digging into my past. It appears that we have a passing familiarity of this place. Us? What is it they seek to convey? I don't believe any level of proper communication will be feasible, given that you are in a dungeon of the Fathoms. Well, then do something about it. I regret to tell you that the setting of this dungeon is out of my hands. Had it been up to me, I would have manifested a place that was much more fascinating than this, like that library, able to have every book in existence. You used to work for the Lobotomy Corporation? One of my past careers, yes. Diplomacy did not seem to be an option here. They censored people brandished their weapons threateningly and stood in our path. Looks like we're going to have to take them down if we want to make any progress here. It can't be helped. Let's get ready for a fight. Yeah. Be right back, guys. I'm gonna grab a water bottle real quick.
유감 없는 싸움을 기대하겠소.
Okay. And I'm back. Alright. This should be easy. Why are they all using the same ego gear? Like, when do I get one? Is this a sleeping sheep from Lobotomy, or is this the electric sheep from Limbus? I'm assuming it's the electric sheep.
이런 건 물기가 약이지. 두드려 패. 저들이 추풍과 같이 흔들려 보다 유리하지.
Censored. Uncanny lantern. Hello, whatever. That's importante.
점 찍었네. 내가 알아서 처리해.
낙마하지 않을 것이네. 승리로
네.
술이 가져와줘. 우위를 점했기 때문이지. 이런 기술이 있으면 좀 배우고 싶은데.
But clearly, I don't think Hohenheim worked for the main branch. He hasn't been working for one of the other smaller facilities. Ow! Wonder if Diaz knew about him beforehand. Hohenheim's got. I've seen this. You come across a group of researchers passionately poring over various documents. They're having a debate over two subjects, emotions and flame. Regular flames don't seem to hurt the abnormalities very much, but why does this work, I wonder? Perhaps a greater degree of wrathful emotions opens up the room for the fire's heat to touch abnormalities and distortions, both entities of the unknown. They must have noticed us listening into the conversation intently. One of them approaches us with a glint in her eyes. Are you the sample who agreed to the experiment? If so, try this on. In the researcher's hands was what looked like an ignition plug. Or a testing machine of sorts. Sure, we'll take the gift. We don't do burn damage, but we'll take it. Rodian. Oh, what an interesting reaction. Decent synchronization rate as well. Maybe the researcher liked what they saw? Scribbling observations into various papers, the researcher let Rodian go. Rodian took off the gear, presented it before the researcher to return it, but they simply shook their head in response. The gear seems to fit you perfectly. Take it with you. Reignition plug.
이런 건 이발사나 신부에게 시켜.
Yeah, this is literally only just for burn IDs. All right. Onwards.
잠깐만. 아직 충전 덜 했거든.
So, how do we know this guy's actually distorted? He doesn't sound any different from his usual self. The sanity degradation due to a distortion affects every subject differently. I mean, yeah, but censoring his own fathoms? But, Hohenheim, you're in a dungeon of the fathoms. We will see through it with Dante's powers, whether you want to show us or not. You make a fair assessment. How about this then? If you are to see them anyway, allow me to save you the trouble and give you a quick rundown instead. Come visit me as soon as you finish my tale. This tale began. That man walked into my laboratory. Yes, I had a personal laboratory all to myself. One of the few perks of being an elite researcher. This guy's just telling the story however he wants to, isn't he? Time. That's no one silhouette I know about. Mr. Hohenheim. Let me think. I don't quite remember what he looked like. Something like this, perhaps? Whichever is the case, I was planning to censor his appearance anyway. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. Stop. Are you here to express your displeasure with me? The what now? If you are, do let me know from the get-go. I had a feeling it was about time this would happen. 3 months. Not a bad record for working about a workplace conflict. So, if this is about quitting, then you'll find a much better audience among the human resources team. No, I mean, I'm just here to thank you. For picking me. Some dude from the back streets to work here. I heard it was you who made the hiring decision. I don't know how to put this, but you're the only one who saw my, what's the word? Yeah, my potential. Potentiality. You saw something that no one's cared to look into before. You know what I mean? But it had nothing to do with something so grandiose as like his potentiality. A wing does not hire people from the back streets for something so insignificant. While this information has never been publicly available, Bottomley Corporation's primary criterion was trauma. Candidates with horrible, insurmountable trauma were often favored by the company. And, in a direct way, it was only natural that they would begin to favor candidates who originate from the back streets. Your greetings are acknowledged, Jimmy. Now, feel free to leave my office. I ain't Jimmy. Anyways, I've been meaning to ask, Mr. Hohenheim, why do you always enjoy being alone? It may come as a surprise to you, but I am very adept at spending my time all on my own. It is one of the hundreds of distinguishing features that set me apart from ordinary men. Say, don't you need someone to be like, your loyal right-hand man? My right hand is doing just fine, thank you very much. Do you believe in potentialities, Hohenheim? What an unrelentingly stubborn employee he was, even in hindsight. Thanks to you, I do. And I've been thinking, if I keep at it, one day I might even find myself living it larger than a nest, changing my world little by little. Kind of like how a thing like me managed to snag a position here at the Lobotomy Corporation. So I'm thinking here that I want to stick around in your circle. Bring about such drastic changes to one's life is in a realm of feasibility. For an exceptional researcher like myself, indeed. But you are most of the rabble, painfully average in most qualities, and therefore unlikely to be the moving force in that change. I have no faith in universal things like potentialities. I have faith in myself and myself alone. Besides, I am not very partial to mathematical statistics, like the probability theory anyway. So, I would like to keep both my right and left hands as my own. Have a nice day. Want to know something about me? I'm the kind of guy who don't really think about things. Action before deliberation. You get me? Thoughtless and carefree. Possibly the only merit to be found in those who originate from the back streets. Or was that a thinly veiled threat of physical assault? No. I'm talking about the new Abno that just got shipped here. It's a tricky one to manage. I tell you what, it reads your mind, screwing up all kinds of strategies or whatever, as long as it's based on hard logic. Want to shoot for the Department of the Year award together? You seem to be rather skilled in the art of transactions. One of the few merits found in those who originate from the back streets. I will admit, suppose I was overcome by a certain ennui back then. Ennui? I don't think that's how you say that. And in hindsight, it was foolish of me to engage in such inane conversations. You live, and the remnants of my past come to haunt us. Perhaps it is I whom they truly wish to hurt. Did he send them to their deaths? Very common thing to do in Lobotomy Corporation.
죄인인가? 합격장.
I need to look at the roadmap for Limbus. 'Cause I demand Ryoshu content. He hasn't got his shit. Let's see. Limbus Company roadmap. Wrong roadmap. I need the other one. Season 5. Okay. Ah, fuck, the railway's next. Wait, no, because we're supposed to be getting the Blade Lineage rerun next. So the railway's after that. Then we'll have the final event, Nocturnal Sweeping. So hopefully for that one, Ryoshu will finally get a 3-star ID. And then we're at chapter 8. Oh shit, we might have chapter 8 by April. You'd love to see it. Oh, and the Arcanite collab supposed to happen at some point too. Blade Lineage, yes. Blade Lineage. It is the katana samurai bamboo hat IDs. Because we had the original event like what, a year ago? I have proof of this. Yes, they usually use there's two sides. There's Blade Lineage, which is the quote unquote good guys, and then there's Kurokumo, which is the quote unquote bad guys. I mean, they're Syndicate. They are pretty bad. And the Kurokumo IDs, they use Bleed, and then the Blade Lineage IDs use Poise. Which is basically the crit status effect. Finally here, the Department of the Year award. Indeed, I have finally done it. With some minor assistance from you, of course, and some other employees. Come on, admit it. Don't you notice that a lot more employees are saying hello, good morning, and what have you in the hallways compared to when your reputation was a bit, you know. It's all because I'm just that good of a right-hand man. I will admit that your intuitive and spontaneous eye was of some assistance when it came to identifying certain observations among abnormalities. This is a potentiality I was talking about, man. The same thing you saw on me when you decided to get me on board. Apologies for ruining the moment, but the next few years quickly and busily flew by without much trouble. Of course, we picked up on ourselves a few more Department of the Year awards, some promotions, and some collaborative researches. I wonder how long the Body Corporation is actually like running for before everything happened. I assumed it wasn't that long, but maybe it's a couple years longer than I thought. I don't know the timeline. They need to give us a timeline of events for this, for like the Osprey games, because I need to know. Yet all things must come to an end. The infamous fall of the Body Move Corporation, for one. You left us, so I don't suppose you have any trouble hazarding what they're all telling me, even as the words come out fragmented. You left us. Nothing but words of endless resentment. You left us behind. The fall of the former Elcor. I remember what Miss Yuri told us. The site crumbled in an instant, trapping the employees in there with the abnormalities. But what is the sound? Whole structure is quaking. What the hell is... Initiating site burial in 100 seconds. Any remaining employees must immediately evacuate the structure. Counting down, 95, 94. The escape pods to the surface are here, but there's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes. Listen closely. At the risk of sounding rather callous, I must inform you that the chance of survival in cases of crises such as this is usually granted only to a very small minority of those affected. Some who prioritize the fairness of the process may settle on primitive methods, such as drawing lots to seek us to escape. In the more barbaric groups, survival would be decided by none other than a rule of might. However, I am glad to find myself among those who are on the side of intelligence, so I make this argument a suggestion before you. Compare yourselves whose sole final purpose in life is clinging to your mediocre office jobs and making good on your debt payments, and me, who has produced several groundbreaking hypotheses and research results at such an early age, whose life in your eyes is of greater worth. Yes, and that is how this tale ends. The compound collapsed 90 seconds later. I left the employees of my department behind and boarded the escape pod elevator and survived. What? How could you? Without even a hint of remorse? Wrath is a hideous emotion. I am here today only because I have always maintained a cold, rational head. The Elcor branch of Hohenheim's Dungeon of the Phasms begins to crumble. It almost appeared as though his heart was crumbling as well. Well, now that's over with. I invite you to come face me, the distortion. And the experiment will come to an end. But just finding and defeating his distortion in a fight, I don't think that'll bring him back. I just know it. I agree. We're still in deep waters here. Can't possibly be all there is to it. We gotta make him feel sad. I'll sell more fights. We see the Fade Lantern within the containment unit. The cyan-hued fairy flutters toward the weary, ancient branches of the tree. It softly lands on one of them. Lol, yeah. The branch seeding. Make him cry big tears. We're gonna make you cry, then you'll come back. The branch seeding the fairy sways, as though to entice us to get closer to them. Bright, countless yellow eyes glimmer from the shadows beneath its roots. What a beautiful specimen, this Fey Lantern. Have you finished your observations? We've been learning a lot about the abnormality recently. There's still a lot of unknowns, but still. Speaking of which, here's a pop quiz. What ego gift can you get from the Fey Lantern? A rupture one. Midwinter Nightmare. But that's actually that's a sinking gift. Right on the money. You know your Fairy Lantern. But that's not all. Recently it's been giving out these things too. Take this with you. I'm just glad to have run into a kindred soul. You receive a bony twig. It seems. Oh, this fucking one sucks. Wait, this is new actually. Every time Rupture activates 3 times the enemies to Rupture due to getting hit by allied attack skills. Oh, whoops. Like 2 offense level down. That's actually a decent one, but I'm running bleed, so it doesn't matter to me in the slightest. These ego gifts are meaningless. Wait, actually, I think Rodian and Breaker actually fucking do rupture damage. Or no, it's Otis. Trigger. Well, Gregory definitely does. What do the other ones do? I know that. I know my game. I just don't know it 100%. All I know is Rupture is present, okay?
대성공이야. 다른 신나. 노래 부를까?
You think it technically do Rupture also.
적들이 저녁만 참냄새를 맡아버린 손님들처럼 비틀거리고 있네. 한 접시
Big stretch.
부족해 차려졌지 않아.
훌륭하오. 이외에 특별히 첨언할 일도 없다.
추잡하네. 적들이 치명상을 입은 상태네.
좀 찍었네.
다들 팔 걷어붙이고 저들이 편하게 잠들 수 있도록 침대 볼을 깔아주자고.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 해파.
No other new Pecatola. We got some new ones earlier.
닥쳐라. 해파. 누굴 팰지 내가 정한다. 아, 저런 건 그냥 쓱싹쓱싹 하는
점
거
찍어.
Win rate.
편하게 해.
자기 일 아니라고 그렇게 말하시면 어떡해요.
I think when I'm done here, I'll probably take a nap. And after the nap, I'll eat some pizza. Then I'll watch some anime. And then we'll play more End of Magnolia! Yay! I definitely want to take a nap though. Yeah. Oh, I gotta do my laundry too. Completely forgot about that.
완성되었나?
Just sitting in there. Fuck chores.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지.
Only video. Why is this hit so that? Why is it so close up over them?
대가리 딱 떼도.
야, 다리 한쪽이 작살났네. 저러면 이제 메타작을 피할 방법이 없지.
Several messy, frantic letters are carved into the wall of knives. I could practically feel the sheer horror and desperation of the writers from the wild letters. Upon close inspection, the deep marks tell a tale written in terror. They're swarming us, some monsters. I hear them. I hear their breathing. They're gonna kill us all. Save me, please. Someone, anyone, save me. I don't want to die, please. Fear is what drives men to madness. The monsters are near. I can feel the rumble of their feet. They are coming. There are unfinished sentences written on the wall. It has carved deep marks between them. I want a free ego gift. Look around some more. Roshu can do it. He likes art. In order to say something, Ryoshu points to an area on the wall. There's a small crack between the countless scribbles of letters. I carefully reach my hand to the opening and... Aha! I can feel the tip of my fingers brushing against a card. Someone must have hidden it in there. Might come in handy later. Full HP. Operational authorization card. An alleyway tree store is defeated. Oh, it's not gonna happen. Pointless. I'm not gonna lose.
슈트가 실시.
Yeah, I'm not using any retreating IDs. We arrived at the entrance to Hohenheim's laboratory. This may be my final order to you all. You. Either suppress me and return safe and sound to where you came from, or fail the suppression. Place me in a containment unit, and perhaps we could observe what happens next. That's when Heathcliff suddenly strode forward. Hohenheim, do you still believe in that potentiality? I do. That's what keeps me going. Oh, is that why he chose Heathcliff? Because Heathcliff reminded him of not Jimmy. You only hire researchers from the backstreets, don't you? I heard some of them earlier. They told me that you're a right pompous bloke. But thanks to you, they could continue their research and believe that there might be things in the world that's worth working toward. Heathcliff, make him cry! Oh, I've been using Heathcliff.
저런 건
Fine.
그냥 쓱싹쓱싹하면 끝이라고. 편하게 해.
자기 일 아니라고 그렇게 말하시면 어떡해요.
뭐가
Kick
치워라.
his ass. What is the status effect on me? Subject of observation.
합격장.
으이? 그건 저들이 거리낄 것 같지 않네. 아하! 한 수 접어주시겠나?
XX30. Gains 3 stacks, starting from the turn to spring game 1 stack right then you didn't take the deal damage. Blah, 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 blah. Take more damage from enemies. Deal more damage on hit. Okay. Nothing I need to concern myself with.
대가리 딱 떼고.
This assertion is cool. I think blue and red always look good together.
자자, 대열 정비하고
Defense.
눈이 날 정도로 잘 갈렸는지 다시 확인하고 복장은 구김
Gain
없는지
two.
체크하고
Okay, so he's just giving himself a whole bunch of poise.
시작해볼까?
Try to remember if there's like a ego that like pops shields.
산초류 경혈 온 라샹. 끝을 낼 시간.
주인님이 도착하기 전까지 끝내보자. 벽난로에 불도 지피고.
Unbreakable, so it doesn't really matter.
준비를 해야 하니까.
Yeah, fragile next turn though.
그쪽도 죄인인가? 무불아위.
Bitch.
엎드리도록. 기도.
Ah, she does do rupture.
좋아.
Or no, that was Gregor's damage. That was Gregor's damage. Don't be an idiot. What plagues your mind, manager? Your suppression efforts seem to be smooth sailing. Exactly as you have seen, manager. Save for a few parts that were censored, I concealed nothing from your view. I don't believe I've committed any wrongdoing by escaping that place alone, leaving the others to be buried there. Of course, it may be reprehensible from a moral standpoint, but why would anyone ever look at it from that perspective, manager? Especially when you're well aware that, in this city, such a perspective is entirely irrelevant and worthless. I can feel his gaze on me. Like he said, that suppression is going well, but this feels wrong, that it shouldn't end like this. What should I tell them? What is Hohenheim trying to hide from us? What if you do feel like what you did was wrong? You're running away from something. There's another side to this story that you told me. You're running away from something. Get rid of your shield passive, idiot. Boss related my words to Hohenheim. Running away. An interesting point. But allow me to retort. My choice was not to run away. To deny and evade what has happened is too pathological a choice, isn't it? I am very well aware that the only way to solve a problem is to face it head on. Which is another aspect of myself that sets me apart from the common man. When an issue arises, or, in very rare cases, where I have to find myself in a tumult of emotional nature, I first attempt to establish a logical explanation. I reconstruct what was perceived, and regulate my emotions. Expressing fury and anger is a plain waste of resources. But I must admit one thing. Now that I have conducted some level of cold introspection, I will admit that it wasn't entirely mature of me to censor so much of my fathoms. Of course, does not mean that I will now remove the censored memories. That ego is not so feeble as to be shaken by a few words. Didn't really understand most of what Hohenheim was talking about, but ow! Sister! Don't throw stuff at me. Hi! Yeah, okay, sister, Chalice. You're almost at the finish line. You got this. I believe in you. I can't shake the thought that everything he's been saying was just an effort to distance himself from his own emotion. Okay, nerd. No, you got this, Chalice. You got this. Blade says hi. Magic bullet. Ooh, no, we use Apple Smithos. He's below 50, I think. Or at least he will be. That emote's really funny. Ow! Kaiser. Hello, Kaiser. You know how to deco nut me, though. Do 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 do. Yeah, you got this. What is this? Finishing work for the day. Chalice has 47 minutes left. And if any of you others are at work, then I hope you guys are almost out of work too. If you're at work, you guys got this. You can get to the end of the day. It's like I'm beating this nerd's ass. Yeah, we won. We beat the game.
광을 내볼 차례겠지?
Escape pods to the surface are here. There's only one seat left. It's saying that the next one's in 5 minutes. Look. Oh, what the fuck? Why does it look like that for? That Matt Mercer? Look, I don't actually believe you hired me because you saw my potential or something like that. But I want to believe that you found the hope and potentialities because of me. A hope and anticipation that we can make things better as long as we keep at it. I can't leave you all behind. I can't just save my skin not without everyone. Because of what a right-hand man does, isn't it? Take my potentiality you found and rise. Take it with you to the surface. But you, Johan, what about you? Well, maybe next time. Some other time. Wrath. The hideous emotion. That is why I did nothing at the entrance of that branch. Only remembering nothing more. Remembering the ones I've left behind. I can sense the dungeon of the fathoms slowly beginning to close. Ha! Go cry, nerd! Sometime later. I've returned safe and sound. Welcome back, boss. To be frank, I once wished to be someone like yourself, Heathcliff. What are you talking about? We don't want Heathcliff to be we don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff. Ishmael. Because it's not easy to put my faith not in games of numbers, but in those slimmest potentialities of the world and continue to exist. I know it's not very befitting a researcher to be so, but it is quite the romantic attitude for a human to embody, is it not? Well, the experiment is over. It was a huge success, all thanks to us, right? No, it was a failure. What? It's an inappropriate time to dance. We're dancing anyway. When are they gonna release Limbus Company Dancing All Night? I think that'd make a fantastic game. You just get the whole crew together. The Limbussin, the lobotomies, the blue schizos. Like, this dance their problems away. Oh yeah, and then like the end boss of the game when you're just dancing against like a dancing abnormality. They distorted because all they knew how to do was dance. But they weren't allowed to. I established this hypothesis as the sole answer was to hold a firm belief in the self and nothing else. Had my hypothesis been correct, I would have remained a distortion. Thus, I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you. Thank you for making me fail. It seemed that the classification for my distortion was E5SU. Disappointingly mediocre, but I don't suppose it can be helped. The world is the place where he must find the ray of potentiality among the mediocre, after all. Let us move on now. Mephistopheles is prepared to depart. Owenheim's researchers waved at us. Well, we'll meet again, right? Ew, no thank you. Everything has an end. So, do you consider this to be our final meeting? Down to the last exchange, this guy. The last thing we saw before the portal activated were the LCE researchers pushing up their glasses in our general direction. Though I'd only taken a step or two, the entire world around us seems to transform, landing us back inside the transportation instrument. Now that I think about it, we didn't even get to learn why Gregor's bones made those crackling noises. That's your takeaway, Dante? All we learned from this experience is that the sinners have all become mediocre, but they each held certain potentialities within themselves. Each of us mulling over the events at the LCE, we returned to the bus where Sharon and Virgilus were waiting for us. Yay, we did it! We beat the regular checkup. Honestly, I think the funniest moment of the entire thing was this fucking he's saying being at the bottom of the list, but thinking he was at the top, then realizing, oh shit, I'm at the bottom. And then when Gregor was revealed to potentially be even lower than him, and just getting all super smug about it. And he's saying it's a trip.
우리가 이룰 수 있는 유일한 꿈이니까.
Anyways. Let me buy some leveled up tickets. Oh, still more. Oh, I have some grinding to do later this week. Did I? Okay. Okay, so the only EX I need to redo is that stupid flop one. But I'll do that on my own time. Let's see. Looks like Fire is streaming, so we'll right into Fire for now. And I will see you guys again later in like 3-ish hours. I'll be back with more Ender Magnolia. Thank you guys for hanging out and lurking. I will see you later. Bye bye. Blade's emote looks like it's smacking Chalice, and I keep seeing it out the corner. It kind of does. It's funny. I like it. It's really funny emote.